Hello everybody. We're going to start out with a different kind of thing today. Normally I do jazz personalities, but there are some places that have earned such a distinction in the hearts, minds, and history and development of jazz that we have to treat them almost like they're human, man. They had their own little life, okay? And such is the case of a little quaint restaurant, bar, nightclub, rooming house on the left bank of the Seine in Paris. Le Chat qui Peche. The cat that fishes. Yeah, throw that in mind for a minute. Just throw that around in your mind for a minute. Okay, we'll move along. Well, originally, this place had been just a restaurant. Just one little small restaurant on a very, very small street that was actually a dead-end street because it ended right on the left bank of the Seine. Not much happening. And then this firebrand came through. Madame Picard. By firebrand, I mean she had a lot going on. But she was a very, very small woman, probably didn't even weigh 100 pounds. And in her restaurant, she could be everybody's mother, especially during the Nazi occupation. Oh, she was so friendly with those Nazis. She got to know them, their families, their likes, their dislikes, how they like their food and all of that. And what they didn't know is that she was an active member of the French resistance. And as she was having her casual conversations, she was robbing them of every bit of useful information that she could turn over to their enemies. She was part of the reason the Nazis lost. Oh yeah. Can't judge a book by the cover, and most certainly cannot judge women as weak because they're small. They will get you every time. Now, after the war, she had to make some decisions. What are we going to do? Business is kind of dwindling. We don't have those bad people and all this excitement. So she started bringing in music. First folk music and that kind of thing. And, wasn't going so good. So she, in the mid-50s, early 50s, started bringing in this new music. Not so new, but new to this area. And it was the time, the high time of jazz, progressive jazz, hard bop, bebop, and all that. And there were a lot of Americans who had discovered Europe during the war, especially African Americans who served in the war in the bands, GIs. They couldn't wait to get back to Europe for the freedom, relaxation, the people, the food, the love, all of it. So pretty soon you've got American musicians showing up in this little cafe. And the word got around really fast. And all of a sudden, every bus tour that came through Paris had to come by Madame Picard's little restaurant. Yeah, it did. And this caught on. People would stop by, listen to the jazz, and next. This became such a sensation that she got to the point she could hire the very best of the American musicians. People like Chet Baker. People like, I gotta think real quick here. Think of like Bob Brookmeyer. People like Art Davis. People like Dexter Gordon. People like every major jazz player, Sonny Rollins, These people all came through. And soon she had so many clients coming through that she was able to add a second floor, kind of like a balcony, because people couldn't sit on the main floor. And on top of that, she had kind of a little rooming house upstairs where she could actually house the musician, save them money, save her money, and make things a lot more convenient. As a matter of fact, the greatest jazz movie of all time is called Round Midnight. And it is loosely based on the life of Bud Powell, who actually played in this establishment during his life in the 60s when he was living in Europe. And it's based on the life of Bud Powell and Prez, Lester Young. Now in this movie, the great Dexter Gordon played this legendary composite character. But I find it interesting that when I did research on this place, one of the first people listed was Bud Powell, who in reality actually played in this club during his life, and the movie simply reflected the reality of that situation. This was also a place where French musicians met with American musicians to learn to play this new music with authenticity. And in the movie, there are scenes where you have great American musicians like Tony Williams and Herbie Hancock and Dexter Gordon playing with French musicians, because this was the scene. Donald Byrd made his very first live recordings at the Shed. So it was quite a popular place and well known on the entire European continent. This one little restaurant. Now, Madame Picard, she kept this dance going for well over 20 years. But like everywhere else around the world, with the rock and roll revolution, invasion, British invasion, whatever you want to call it, and the advent of major pop festivals like the Atlanta Pop Festival, International Pop Festival, and Woodstock, and so many others, small jazz clubs and acoustic music started to lose favor. So in 1970, as business was dwindling, she decided to sell her license for food and alcohol and get out of it altogether, because she didn't want to go back. She wanted to stay with her jazz. And if she couldn't do that, she was done. So, if you want to trace some history, you can still find the Shed right there. And it still has the same original name. But today, it is a restaurant, strictly a restaurant, as it was originally. So, hats off to Madame Picard for her work for freedom during the revolution, during the war, during the resistance, and for promoting jazz and making Paris one of the friendliest places in the world for jazz musicians. The cat who fishes most certainly caught a lot of fish. Thank you.